Hello there, guys and girls, and welcome to another episode of The Road to Rome 2, the series where we get psyched up for Rome 2's release coming in October of this year, 2013, by playing the original Rome 1. And in this series, the point, or the goal, is to win one battle with every single playable faction in multiplayer online. And every time we do one, you guys vote on the next one and we play it, and yeah, what happens next is I give you a little bit of history and a little bit of insight into how I think the faction should be played on Rome Total War, and that's exactly what we're gonna do today. But before that, two things. First, I'm kind of sick. I just came out of having a cold, so my voice is kind of nasally, and I might do things like excuse me, like that quite a bit through the video, so I do apologize for that. The second thing is that I won't be doing a lot of videos from now up until maybe the 16th or the 17th of this month, just because I have finals and I kind of want to focus on my studies for the time being. So, Macedonia is the faction of today. I'm playing against Numidia. We'll see my opponent in a little bit here, and I've brought a somewhat unfamiliar or a somewhat odd Macedonian army. I have 4 phalanx pikemen, a bunch of archers, and a bunch of cav. You usually see, a strong infantry lineup, a strong cavalry lineup, but not this many. I've got the max of archers and the max of cav that CWB rules allow. Pardon me. And we'll talk about why I did that here in a little bit, but before that, I want to talk a little bit about the history of Macedon. Now, wow. I do apologize for that. Again, most of you probably have heard a lot of things about Macedon, either by reading books or knowing Alexander the Great, or probably being a fan of the Prince of Macedon here on YouTube. But my take on the Macedonians, as is my take on a lot of things in history, is a little bit different than what is, I guess, commonly accepted. See, when I think of Macedon, I don't just think of Alexander the Great. I think of Alexander the Great and his father, Philip II. Now, to me, the real genius is Philip II, because he was the one who actually started the whole idea of a drilled army. He was the one who brought the army together. He was the one who innovated the sarissa. He was the one that drilled his men and allowed for this cohesive phalanx that was adopted from the Greeks to become something that was at the core of the Macedonian army. But not only that, he also pioneered the use of the supporting units, the missile units, the peltasts units. And it was the first time really in history that the cavalry were viable now in Greek warfare. Before Philip, cavalry wasn't really an important part of, of Greek armies. It was mostly a scouting force or a screening force. Now it was a heavy tank-like object that came around and did hammer and anvil strikes. Now, don't get me wrong, Alexander the Great is still obviously, great, but I also give credit to Philip, who came up with this idea, came up with this army. Well, he didn't really came up with the army, because armies don't just, happen, but he did, put all of it together, and then as his son, Alexander was able to do great things. So, the army obviously worked, and Alexander is the testament to that. So, enough history for this video. Let's move to my opponent, who's playing as Numidia. Today I'm playing TV Frog from the SUDF clan, and he's also brought a peculiar army. He has 6 Numidian legionaries, a lot of upgrades on those guys, 6 archers, 4, I believe, of these Numidian camel riders. Now these guys have boosts in the desert. We are in the desert, as you can very clearly see, and they will scare cavalry, but they will lose in prolonged melee. So what you need to do is you need to do what my opponent has done. He obviously knows this game. He's brought some desert infantry. He's going to use these guys to kind of pin down my cav and help the camels do the scare and maybe get some surround on my cav. But I don't think he expected to see the army that I brought today. To be frank, when this battle first started, I thought that my opponent was going to bring at least 8 ranged units, some more Numidian cavalry. He only brought one of those, and he's actually driven them in the corner now. And I'm going to catch them here because they're on skirmish mode. I don't think he paid attention to them. They get caught and wiped out. And it ends up being that the Macedonian army has the infantry disadvantage and the archery advantage over the Numidian army, which is something that I didn't think I would say in any one of my casts. Obviously, Macedon can be played in many different ways, and I think this battle is a testament to that. The fact that Macedonia in this game has you know, three or four tiers of infantry gives you a lot of options on how you want to structure your army. So it becomes a very unpredictable thing. Sure, it's a standard faction that a lot of people use, and sure, there's always a phalanx, and there are always going to be hammer and anvil strikes, and there's always going to be strong cavalry. But there are always like these little minute details that give Macedonia a very strong edge, and that's why I think they are probably my favorite faction in this game. So here I'm going to do a charge on his back lines, kill some of his archers. My opponent knows that I have the archery advantage. I know that I have the archery advantage. So what he is aiming for right now is to destroy my infantry as soon as he can. So over here on this flank, he is going to start surrounding my units. These phalanx pikemen are going to get absolutely chewed up because we're getting surrounded from this side. And now he's going to swing around. He's doing a good job with his infantry so far. But now in comes my Macedonian cavalry, and I'm going to save the day here. Look at that guy, flies like 10 feet in the air. I get a successful charge there, and that frees up this flank, but he's also wrapped around this flank, and now he's got a complete Roman-styled manipular surround on my phalanx, which is absolutely going to crumble. Look at that over there. I get a lucky charge with my light lancers. That is, oh, I forgot to talk about my cav. I had 2 light lancers, 2 Macedonian cav, and 4 companion cavalry alongside of my 4 phalanx pikemen and 6 archers, 2 of them, and 2 more Cretans. Here the Cretans have extended range. So here I start flaming my arrows because, well, the general just died. I know that Numidian units don't have the greatest of morale, so I'm hoping that even though my infantry has completely crumbled, all these desert infantry over here in the midst of his camels, I'm hoping I can rout them because they don't have a lot of armor or defense. So here we go. I'm still trying to flame them. I am trying to target one of his camel units at a time. Notice that I'm not engaging all of the camels at once, and I don't want to be near his infantry when I do that. And that's how you want to fight camels. You don't want to fight them when they have supporting units next to them, especially not these desert infantry, because they will have your cav dead very quickly. Now here I do a quick charge with one of my Macedonian cavalry units that comes back at the back of these desert infantry, and with the combined effect of the flaming arrows, that is going to be more than enough to start routing them. Over here I'm going to send the rest of my cav, and I'm going to attack my opponent's archers, and now we're heading into the end game here with all of my archers pretty much intact and my opponent's infantry almost, well, he has a little bit of it. I wouldn't say they're intact. They've been absolutely peppered throughout the game by you know, relentless barrages from my archers, and now I've turned my flaming arrows off just to do a little bit more casualties against the units here. I'm having some of my cav unit attack his archers so they don't come back. So why did this battle play out this way? Well, the main thing really is that my opponent misused his cavalry forces. He should have sent maybe 1 heavy camel and 1 of his legionnaires to chase away my archers, because my archers were a crucial element to this battle. They got so many kills. We'll see in the stats here in a little bit. And they allowed me to rout a lot of units. Another very important point in the battle is me using these lancers. Now these units are used in a good bit online, but not effectively enough, I see, or at least in my opinion. I'd love to use these. I almost never do a Macedonian build without having 1 or 2 of these lancers, and look how heavily upgraded I've upgraded them, because they're cheap. And they have amazing charge. They have more charge bonus than the companion cavalry over here. They start off without any upgrade with 9 charge, which is just phenomenal. You can charge units from the rear, and they'll do so much morale shock that you can cause armies to rout instantly. And maybe you could snipe a general, kind of like I did. I got lucky with that one, but alas, such is the way of life. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. And at this stage, me and my opponent were having a conversation, and he was like, wow, I expected you to bring more stronger infantry, and that's why I heavily upgraded my infantry. And you know, these units aren't Numidia's advantage. Of course, I haven't played Numidia yet, but when we do Numidia, I'll show you guys what I think is the way you should play Numidia. And well, you know, that's kind of harsh. I wouldn't say the way you should play Numidia, but I think, you know, viable ways. This is definitely a viable army. Don't get me wrong. What my opponent done here was a very, very viable, sound tactic to counter a standard Macedonian army. If I had 3 companion cav, 4 Cretan archers, and like, you know, 6 royal pikes, I'm pretty sure my opponent would have been able to wipe me. But I knew that a Numidian opponent would try to bring more skirmish and more camels. I thought he'd go into a more ranged cavalry approach, so I tried to do that, and it ended up with him taking more infantry and me having more support units. So again, a testament of how adaptable Macedonia is as a faction in multiplayer, and that's why you'll see them very often. So over here, we were just talking about Macedon, and I was like, yeah, I think you kind of misused your camels. And he was like, my opponent, TV Frog, was like, he was having a bad day. He was like on a 3 or 4 losing game streak. And I was like, yeah, man, I have some of those days sometimes. But he's going to run forward now. He does a smart thing here. He wants to get my archers a little bit closer. But at this stage, all I'm going to do is just surround his forces, his column, with my archers, and just keep shooting at his cav. So just go ahead and speed up over here. And I'm using some flaming arrows with some of them, and I think I'm going to switch off to regular arrows here with these ones. There we go. One of my phalanx units does come back, which is fun. Now he's going to start charging into them here. They're going to get stopped. Some of them are making it through right now. And they're going to start routing again without his general, and I'm going to get a complete surround now. He's not really going to have much of a chance. I hope you guys learned a little bit from this battle, both historically and in-game for Rome Total War. Please do let me know in the comments section below what you think the next faction I should play is. Again, check the previous 8 episodes if you haven't already done so to know which ones we've already done, because sometimes I do get votes for factions that we've already done before, and I feel that you could probably put those in something else that you feel would be cool. So that was a clear victory. I've actually brought more forces than him. Let's take a look at a little bit at the statistics. I want to show you what my archers did. So my companion cav did a lot of damage. My light lancers got 106 kills. My archers combined, look at my Cretans, 191 kills on one of my Cretans. If you combine all of these, you'll probably get somewhere around 400 or 500. So the archers were definitely a crucial part in this battle. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Again, remember to give me a comment telling me which faction you think I should play next. Thanks for watching, guys. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and remember to subscribe for more Road to Rome 2, and I'll see you all next time. So I can really kind of let my micro slip as long as I can overwhelm my opponent on one front, and we'll see if I am able to do that or not. Now, historically, Britain is, I wouldn't say misrepresented, because a lot of their units are well represented, like the Woad Warriors and these chariots. But the manner that which the chariots fight in this game isn't really represented properly. So here I'm trying to draw my opponent's chariots away from the rest of his army, and I will be successful in that. He does get a good hill charge on me here. I do lose